another guy that's risen as an independent journalist. He's a comedian, and he started his show basically just making fun of political things. And then during the pandemic, got vaccine injured and really got kind of red-pilled and kind of became like the voice of truth and reason. And, you know, another guy who's been completely outcast by supposedly progressive people for just telling the truth, an inconvenient truth.
Yeah, but I guess the progressives, are they now the conservatives? We gotta change the term.
Yeah.
Progressives seem a lot less progressive.
Yeah.
I really felt quite, you know.
I think they got co-opted.
Yeah.
I think they got co-opted, and I think it was on purpose. I think there was some very sophisticated psychological manipulation that was involved, and a lot of money was being spent in order to push some very specific narratives. And they did a great job of it. You know, they did a great job of finding out because of the Department of Government Efficiency that most of this was funded by our own tax dollars, which is really fucking crazy. A lot of these NGOs that supported a lot of these crazy riots and all these different things that were happening in our cities is really supported by our own tax dollars. It was just a subversion of public discourse. You know, instead of allowing people to figure out what's right, what's wrong, they pushed what they wanted you to say, and anybody who deviated from that was canceled. And because of the fact that before Elon bought Twitter, the left had complete total control over the narrative because they owned all the social media sites and they were in lockstep with the government. So it was just a dark time for information, but a few brave people, you know, braved the storm, and one of them was Jimmy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
He's great. You would love him.
Shout out.
He's great.
You know, I remember when the guy was, remember that guy, I think they were in London maybe, but it was the guy who was, I think the director of Porsche, Pfizer, and he met with some guy and he had a body cam. The other guy had a body cam. It's like a date on Tinder.
Oh, it's like one of those Project Veritas, James O'Keefe things.
Did you not see it?
I'm sure I did.
But this is the perfect example of how the Trusted News Initiative managed to, a lot of news just never got to him because the guy had a body cam and he's talking to him and the guy who works for Pfizer was saying they just had a meeting talking about how they could weaponize these other viruses in order to basically create another pandemic so that they would have the vaccine to address it and make more money, which is not a surprising thing that they would be discussing. But what was great was he admitted it to the guy while they're sitting there at a little diner.
It's always chatty games.
But the main thing,
It's always chatty games. It's always a guy on a date with another guy. And it's like, I'll tell you what we're doing. It's like they just chat it up.
But the incredible thing, like he got, the stuff that he said was incredible. What was more incredible? Well, he told the guy basically that he'd been filming him. The guy freaks out. Anyway, this should have been across every possible platform of media.
Of course.
And yet, you did not see it zero in mainstream media. But because Musk had bought Twitter, Musk put it on and immediately got 40 million views. And also, what's his name, Tucker Carlson put it on, and then there was a lot of views that way. But other than that, but if you have to ask your average person, they never heard of this incident.
Yeah.
It's like an amazing thing, talking about, what's the term for that, the weaponization of a virus. Do you know? He's looking at it.
Term for the weaponization of the virus.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, they do it, but that's what they think that they were doing in China.
100%. Well, that was why you would get banned off of all these social media platforms if you even brought that up. I mean, it used to be if you brought that up on YouTube, you get pulled from YouTube. Now it's a fact. Now it's undeniable fact. All the things, like you said about Robert Malone, all the things that he said are now fact. Everything, every single one of them. The fact that it doesn't stay, the injection doesn't stay locally, that it infects various parts of your body in different ways. If it gets to your heart, it's very dangerous because your heart doesn't have the ability to heal, which is why you don't get heart cancer. So your heart just scars over. and you get myocarditis. He started talking about all these different effects, and he personally was vaccine injured. So he's a guy who took it, almost had a fucking heart attack. Was like, what is going on? His whole body freaked out. He was deadly sick. Managed to get through it, then started speaking out against it, then started doing more research and finding out what was going on, and then that was the collective freak out.
Well, it's incredible that so many people were injured, and yet it's still kind of not a widely discussed thing. I think people are discussing it.
More people are discussing it now, but it's still, there's a lot of people that don't want to bring it up because they don't want the heat. They saw what happened to people that did bring it up, and they don't want that coming their way. It's still fresh in their memory, and they keep their mouth shut. Yeah. But over time...
Did you find out what it was called? Weapon? No.
Is it a term?
It's a term for it, huh?
A term? I don't know what the term is.
Anyway, it just, I don't know. It's a crazy time in this world.
Yeah. But crazy times are fun, too. Because people snap out of it. They pop through it, they come out on the other side, and they go, what the fuck was going on? And then you have a re-examining of society. And I think that's happening right now. And I think that's a good thing. As long as people keep their cool and they don't go tribal. You can't go tribal. You can't go us versus them. They're the bad guys. The fucking, all those people with blue hair, those fucking pieces of shit. No, they're sad, lost people. That's what it is. Sad, lost, angry people that think they have to lash out at the other for the problems that is really caused by gigantic corporations and the exchange of money. And, yeah.
It always comes down. Yeah, follow the money.
Follow
just
that fucking cheese.
Every time.
It's always the money.
Jeez.
And it's never enough. It's a weird thing about us. And again, I think
how is it you go about determining what truth is? You know, is it predicated on just the exercise of your 5 physical senses that you can then process through your intellect, or do we have other faculties? Do we have, for example, another faculty by means of which we can directly and potentially immediately, experientially discern the bonding phenomenon that bonds every single ultimately irreducible integer of matter in the universe together into one unified harmonic whole? And more importantly, do we have an additional faculty over and above that that is able to access the infinite and eternal, the exterior to the sum total of mass and energy in our universe? You know, do we actually have access to the infinite and eternal field of consciousness, not as a separate entity? This is that whole mistake that people make. You know, this is not a noun that we're talking about here. This is a field of infinite and eternal consciousness, and there's no noun to it. It's a verb. It's a non-transitive verb of being. You know, and that's what people get confused about.
Wait, yeah, what do you mean by that? I'm still confused.